So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast as we look forward to Aston Villa versus Young Boys of BERN in the Europa League. And a bit of deja vu here, Paddy, because playing obviously Young Boys of BERN last year as well in the Champions League, we just moved the fixture down a level from last year, Paddy. And I think both of us would prefer to be back where we were last year. But look, c'est la vie, and hopefully we can go away and win this tournament and get back into the Champions League again. But a 5:45 kickoff, Paddy. Absolute nonsense.
It is, isn't it? All to suit television and put on whoever they want to put on, and it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, football is never going to win while these people are running it, because they only concern about where the people are going to watch around the world and pay money to watch it. And we're just the people that just get pushed aside. And I feel sorry for all the people that have got to take a half day off work or do something tomorrow in order to get there, tell a few lies to get out of work. And like we were just discussing before we come on there, we just can't physically do a team sheet tantrum at that hour on a weekday. And I highly doubt whether I'll see the match kick off. And not only that, all my vested interests tomorrow: Celtic 5:45, Shelbourne 5:45, Aston Villa 5:45.
Christ.
So you can't catch a break with that either.
No, I didn't. Your skybox will have smoke coming out of it with all the programs recorded.
If I get to see it.
If you get, record them all. That's what I'm saying. There'll be smoke coming out of them with the recording. But it's look, it is what it is. It's the only thing is, and I spoke to Dan Bardell about it earlier. Like, it's just weird that it's a home game at 5:45. Like, I know we've played away games in the Europa Conference and stuff like that at 5:45. It's just it's different. Spaghetti Junction, as John McGinn said, will be absolute nightmare tomorrow. It will be an absolute nightmare. But it's definitely not. It's definitely not conducive to fan football, as you say. It certainly is not conducive to fan football, unless you're like Carrie, who says it's at 9:45 a.m. California time. So,
which is no good for fan football either.
It just was unless you've got a day off tomorrow. Unless you're self-employed, you've got a day off tomorrow. Yeah, but so Paddy, look, Aston Villa hosting Young Boys tomorrow in the Europa League. Our European home form has been nothing short of imperious, and I'm really expecting that to continue tomorrow. But I do think that there are a couple of caveats to put in with this. Obviously, every team needs to be respected. We are still a team that is prone to a rick every so often. And also, I think one thing that may or may not be overlooked is Young Boys, yes, they have had a bit of a tumultuous, a bit of turmoil over the last 12 months or so, but they've just rehired a man who they would class as one of their idols, as in from a managerial point of view. So Gerard Sione Castro, he is a Swiss manager. He managed Young Boys from 2018 to 2021, and he basically won. He won 2/3 of the games that he played, or that he managed, and they scored an absolute ball of goals. They had a plus 157 goal difference during that period of time. And then that got him a move to Leverkusen, and then on to Mönchengladbach. And even at Leverkusen, he was touching a 50% win ratio at Leverkusen, and he got sacked. And guess who came in when he got sacked? Xabi Alonso. So it's, this guy has great pedigree as being a manager, and since he's come back, he's won 2, drawn 1, lost 1 is his record. But the big thing for him is that he has Young Boys scoring goals again. They've scored 9 and conceded 5 under him. So this is a bit of a new manager bounce, a different new manager bounce, that we could do without having, I suppose, in this game, because a game that would have looked pretty routine 3 weeks ago now has this little wrinkle of a returning hero. Now, they always say you should never go back, but with regards to this is their Graham Taylor coming back, and hopefully it's the same outcome as when Graham Taylor came back to Aston Villa.
And I really couldn't give a shiny shite what they do in their own league. Conceding 5, they obviously scored 5 at the weekend against the superpower of Winterthur, and 4 the week before against St. Gallen. That's fine, but PAOK Thessaloniki went to beat them 4-0 last time out in the Europa League, albeit away from home. But they're away from home. We've got to believe that we're at least a couple of goals better off than a team last year. And I will accept nothing better than a good performance, because while we got the 3 points at the weekend, and I'm more than happy to get the 3 points any way possible in the Premier League, we weren't great by any stretch of the imagination. We were actually very, very poor for 45 minutes. So it will need to be better against the opposition like this. So fingers crossed we see an improvement in there.
Yeah, and I don't get me wrong, I'm fully expecting a win tomorrow. I'm not even hoping for a win. I'm expecting a win tomorrow. Our home form is too good over Unai Emery's tenure for us to be hoping for a win tomorrow. If we're to progress in Europe, if we're to progress back into the Champions League, whether it be via the league or whether it be via this competition, we need to be expecting wins at home. It's that good, is what our home form is. If our home form starts to wobble, then we have an issue. So I don't, and I fully believe that our home form will stay intact. It's just been too good for too long now for it to be a fluke, so to say. As I said, that this was a routine win. I would have been saying this could be 4-0 easy, 5-0 easy at home. Prior to this guy coming back, and I think if it was any other type of any other manager coming back to this team, I would have gone, yeah, or any other manager coming in, I would have gone, yeah, it's fine. Listen, the players mightn't get up for it, but this guy is a bit of a legend around them parts. He won. I know, as you said again, the Swiss League, but he won manager of the year 3 years in a row. In the Swiss League, the 3 years that he managed young boys, and as I say, they bet to live in tar out of everyone in the league for those 3 years. So, now whether most of those players are still at the club, I don't know. Whether he still has that luster, I would imagine he does, considering he went on to 2 pretty decent teams in Germany. But look, we've got a better manager in him than in Unai Emery, and even when we go down now 1 to 11 on their team and 1 to 11 on our team, and I expect us to rotate tomorrow. This is a game Villa should be going and winning regardless tomorrow. As I say, that's absolutely a given, and I would expect us to go win tomorrow, as we are playing at home as well.
Yeah, but there's lots of things to consider. That game against Go Ahead Eagles, we took them lightly. We got
exactly
beaten. When you look at the table, you've got teams like Betis, Zagreb, Porto, Fenerbahce, Stuttgart, Forest, Bologna, Feyenoord, Celtic, Rangers, all struggling to get up in the table. So we need to be very careful. We need to get the points on the board. We need to be looking down on those and get ourselves finished in the top 8. The last thing you want to do is have to go to somewhere like Fenerbahce and get a result in that knockout stage in February. And why not give us a little bit of a rest when it comes down to that? So that's got to be our priority. Get the 2 less games in February, concentrate in the league, and do what we did last year in the Champions League and get ourselves into the next round on home draws.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, Paddy. I think that there's a lot of conflation, I suppose, with treating the game seriously and rotating the team. Like, I think you can do both. Do you expect this team to be rotated tomorrow? Because I certainly do. It's what Emery does.
Yeah. I would fully expect to see 7 or 8 changes, and I mean wholesale changes that won't really hurt the team. Marco Bizos should be playing. Bogard should be playing. Maatsen should come in. Malin should come in for Watkins and give him a break. No slight on anybody. I'm just saying it's time for these. Rodgers should be stood down. The likes of Tielemans, who's only just come back from injury, give him tomorrow off. All of these things can be done with a game like this, but the risk is there that you do a Go Ahead Eagles and you go and get turned over. We can't have that either. We need to win the game tomorrow, but have Sunday in mind as well, because Sunday is a vitally important game for us.
I agree. Sorry, I'm messing with something here. I agree. I think Tielemans gets game time tomorrow. I think he does. And the reason I think Tielemans gets game time is just to give him game time, because he's been out for so long. And I think that we will probably see him. I agree Maatsen is probably likely to start. I agree Bizot is going to be in there. I'd say Lindelof will be in there in some way, shape or form, either for Cash or for Pau Torres, I would imagine. I think Bogard will probably be beside Tielemans in midfield. I would maybe expect Sancho to be left wing. Maybe Gassand, maybe Barkley. You know, I could genuinely see 11 change or 10 changes tomorrow.
Dare we say it, Harvey Elliott?
Well, he built in his 15-second appearance in the Christmas advert.
video.
Yeah. I said that to Dan Bardell as well today, and I must say I'm going to repeat it as well in case any of you haven't seen 1874. But single-handedly, the soundest man in that whole video was Harvey Elliott, because if it wasn't for Harvey Elliott, she was goosed. She wouldn't have got past Spinky, and then she would have never got up to Unai Emery, and it would have been all a matter. So Harvey Elliott deserves all the credit in that, for making that a Christmas miracle. Yeah. It was solely on him. That is his greatest assist.
We give him an assist for that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's his greatest assist in an Aston Villa knitwear. So we call it. But no, maybe we do see him. Yuri Tielemans was basically, Unai Emery was basically saying today as well that he's still our player. We want him to work out. Players are just playing better than him at the moment, and we'll see if that rings true. I know people may have disagreements and may have a difference of opinion on that, but when Unai Emery is asked a question, he answers it straight out, and that's I think that has to be taken at face value too. Yeah, I suppose. Look, when we were going down through the team, we were talking about 10 changes potentially there. We could see it's not beyond the realms of possibility. We could see 10 changes tomorrow. I probably think that he's going to go with maybe. I think that we could see maybe the two centre halves. I think we could see Pau and Konze in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Cash in there and Maatsen. Maybe that makes it 7 changes out of or maybe 8 changes out of the 7, because Tielemans start. Yes, he did. He started the weekend. Yeah, so that makes it 7 changes from the weekend, and I think everyone will be pretty happy with that. And then maybe you could roll off those players then as the game goes on. So I'm kind of interested to see Jadon Sancho get a start. Because I do want him to build on it. I'm not obviously nobody's 100% convinced in him just yet, but he just brings a small little bit of something different, that bit of directness that we may need to go to in certain games, specifically if we're down, and specifically in Europe. Because last year, even for Chelsea, he proved he could do it in Europe for Chelsea, albeit he was a bit blunt in the league. Didn't he score in the Europa League final last year as well? And Europe is a different kettle of fish when you can get players running down the sides of fullbacks than the Premier League is. So I kind of want him to come good in that part. And even if we just utilize him as a Europa League specialist for the course of the year, I think he would have done his job, albeit at a highly inflated wage. He would have done his job for Aston Villa in that aspect.
Yeah, having watched him in the flesh at the weekend, I really didn't think it was a game for him, given the ferocious challenges and I was going to say something derogatory there, but it was just a lot of stuff was let go, and it doesn't it doesn't suit his type of play. But I would imagine tomorrow is a perfect opportunity for him to come in, play the bones of 90 minutes and really lay down a marker. And I think we could be talking about a different player by this time tomorrow, should that happen. And look, I want all of them to do well. I want every one of them to do well. I want Harvey Elliott to come in and have an absolute barnstormer tomorrow if he gets in there, because we're going to need these players. We've got a really, really tough November or December, and we're going to need these players to come in and be finishers for us, potentially to get games over the line. So let's see what these guys have to offer for us tomorrow. And then if we've got to use them in Basel, so be it. If we've got to use them in Fenerbahce when we've already qualified, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that we're able to just stand down our players and let these guys go and do it while we concentrate on making sure our league table our league form stays the same, and keep us in the Champions League hunt right up to the end.
Yeah, and that's really what this is about. That really is what this is about. And the excitement that you have that I would have for seeing those players in a rotated team, like the excitement maybe seeing what's Barkley like when he starts the game. We've seen what he started to do now when he's coming in as the last 10-minute, 15-minute finisher in the Premier League. Once again, a different beast, not being Premier League elitist or anything like that. But like without Barkley, we don't win that game at the weekend. We just don't. It's that simple, And as I said in my post match, you look at things like, and this isn't having a go at who scored or flash score or sofa score or foot mob or any of those. I utilize those for a statistical point of view as well. But there's a hell of a lot of people who talk about this, their ratings, the ratings that they receive there. And I haven't looked at it, and maybe I should look it up, and I could look it up, but I would imagine Ross Barkley gets probably about 6.1, 6.3 as a rating there. But his contribution to the game was way more than a 6.3 because he gets on that lung busting run to go away and win that free. He gets a block in at the back as well, and he stops. What's that mush's name? I can't remember his name, but basically there was an errant pass from Lamar Bogart. Barkley gets in there, takes control of it, not once but twice in that instance, and actually gets that ball out towards Ian Matson, who come on at that stage. And I think it was from that move that Barkley gets the ball back again and wins the free kick. I could be mistaken in that. But they don't equate the points on these aggregation scores, and it just goes to show that there are going to be players that are going to be assigned roles, starters and finishers. And that doesn't mean that they will always be starters or they will always be finishers. I want to see what Barkley can do from the start against opposition like Young Boys of BERN, because he seems to be enjoying his football. And, the article about him becoming a teetotaler recently seems to have energized him a small bit. And I'd like to see him progress there, because what's good for Ross Barkley is good for Aston Villa.
Oh, 100%. Yep. And he's been like a new signing since he started to come in there. The only argument I would have is he probably should have brought the ball into the corner when the game was won at the weekend, and he gave us all a little bit of a heart attack going for trying to drive into the box when the corner was the best option with a few seconds on the clock. But we saw it through, and that's the most important thing. And it's great to see him back in that attacking midfield, because he's probably been pigeonholed into a defensive midfielder since coming back to us, and the role he's played at Luton. So it's great to have somebody who can do both jobs, like John McGinn does, like Tielemans can do, like we hope Onana can do, and we've discussed it in the past. But again, wish all of them. So I'd love Ollie Watkins to turn up tomorrow and score a hat-trick. Don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if he's got it in his plans to even give him a game, but he just needs that spark. That one against Leeds, a flash by the post. Ollie Watkins last year, stick that into the stanchion, and we're all jumping around, singing his name. Just needs something to spark him and get him back into action, and fingers crossed that can come over. Look, we've got two really kind fixtures on paper for the next 4 days. I think if we're coming on here on Sunday night or Monday night to talk about Wolves, and we've got 2 wins, no matter how they come, we should be happy with what we have.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And I think that's going to play into Unai Emery's thinking as well, because we're on a run of kind of home games. Obviously, we had Man City at home, we had Liverpool away, we had Tel Aviv and Bournemouth at home, we had Leeds away. Now we've got Young Boys and we've got Wolves at home. And then, we in the month of December, we play quite a lot of away games. We actually play 4 of our 5 games away from home. Actually, sorry, we play 5 of our 7 games in December away from home. We play Brighton away, we play Basel away, we play West Ham away, we play Chelsea away, we play Arsenal away. That ain't easy. That is not going to be what? And then Arsenal at home, then on the 18th of the 1st. Yeah. So, but that isn't easy. That is not an easy run. So you got to make hay while the sun shines, and that's where I was getting at. In both competitions as well, because you just go into January then, and we've got Forest at home, Palace away, Everton at home, Fenerbahce away, Newcastle away, Salzburg at home. that's how we round out our February. So we've got some tough games coming up over the next 2 months. So getting those points to the board in both competitions are very, very important. And that's why, this is a very important week for Aston Villa. The game gone as well. Leeds, Young Boys, Wolves, very important week for Aston Villa. And then arguably I would say against Brighton then as well, because putting distance between us and the Jason group is what Villa are going to need to do. And I'm delighted the Brighton game comes... it's actually a midweek game, if I'm not mistaken, as well, Paddy, isn't it?
It is next Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, it's a midweek game. I was going to say it would be nice to have a week's break after the Brighton game, but they will have played at the weekend as well, in the league too, so it won't be too much of a hindrance. So, but yeah, big games coming in. It starts tomorrow night against Young Boys and getting points on the board. But who says we can't rattle off a good few results from here on and go into the Arsenal game on a high? Because if I'm also not mistaken, Paddy, the 6th of December, actually, I'm going to Google this. Was that the same date that we beat Arsenal in the year that we won, or that we went on to the Champions League? It was very close to it. If it wasn't, 2023, was it? 2023 it would have been. 9th of December. 9th of December it was. 9th of December. Sorry, yeah, 6 upside down. That's maybe where I got it wrong. The 9th of December, we got that 1-0 goal, 1-0 win, John McGinn. So a little bit of history repeating there would be nice. Would be very nice, albeit they're fucking flying at the moment. Arsenal are absolutely flying at the moment. Anything else in this one, Paddy? Is there anything else you want to chat about with regards to this game?
Not necessarily. It's very hard to come in and talk about the opposition because we don't know an awful lot about them. Most of the people who they've played over the last few weeks, you would expect them to go and get a result, especially with the new manager bounce, as you said, within their own league. They're still 5 or 6 points off the top of the league, which is probably an annoyance for them. So they would be expected to go and win the league, but it hasn't happened. So we've got a team who are transformed under a new manager, but regardless of who comes in to manage this team, we should still be beating them, regardless if we make the changes. Hope that we can just put a workman performance in, get an early goal, get this over the line, take a bit of pressure off, use the bench as best we can, and get a win. But I think I said this about Go Ahead Eagles. We just can't be that lethargic. We can't be that out of sorts. So there's a lot at stake. We need to be very clever about what we're doing and go and get the results.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Yeah, that's going to do it, I think, for this, and we might as well wrap a bow on this one. And so for tomorrow, a bit of programming notes. So tomorrow, I won't be able to do a podcast at normal regular time of 4:40 or 4:30. Just have daddy duties. Won't be able to get. Don't have anyone to collect the kids, so I'll collect the kids and look after them until my lady wife comes home. So she should be home roughly around 5 o'clock. So I would say maybe around 5:05. We'll jump on for a team sheet tantrum, just chat about the team sheet because I am expecting some changes. We'll throw you into AVFC status, watch along then, and then he'll throw you back into us, and we'll discuss the post match afterwards, where hopefully we're discussing an Aston Villa win versus Young Boys of BERN. So that's what we're looking at then. On Friday, we will be doing a Wolves preview, and then obviously we will endeavour to get everything that's needed for the Wolves game at the weekend as well to you into your ear holes or into your eye holes, eyeballs. Then on the day of the Wolves game as well, this Sunday it is. So yeah, so. Brilliant. So listen, thanks so much, guys, everybody, for watching and for listening. Please like this, share it out, please. As I said before, if you guys only watching YouTube but don't listen on your podcast apps, I'm not even asking you to go back and listen to it, but if you could go and subscribe on the podcast apps and maybe leave a 5-star review and maybe a little comment there as well, that would be super. All it is, costs you nothing to do. All it does is just helps get us out there in the algorithms. I'm sure you've heard every single other podcast under the sun say that as well. But we don't want to be left behind from that point of view either, specifically coming up to a busy time where we hope we will be talking about some great wins for Aston Villa. We want to grow our beautiful community that we have here. So if you could do that, really, really appreciate it. So that's really it. Aston Villa versus Young Boys coming up tomorrow. We'll be here with you for a team sheet tantrum in a later one and in the post-match podcast. But in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.